Okay, this is episode 6 on China. This is the nightlife section. I'd say before you even start watching this section, go down to the comments box below, or the description, box below, and click on the free video links I've given you by John Dkar, who made videos about Dave's Oasis, Carols by the River and MGM nightclub. Watch those and that will get you in the mood for what the nightlife in Chengdu is like and what this video is going to be about. Make it less boring. And John Dkar, thank you very much. Amazing video photographer from way back before YouTube even began. Okay, I know what all you YouTube watchers are like, so if you didn't do what I just told you to do, which was go to the descriptions box and watch those 3 amazing videos on Chengdu nightlife before you watch this video, go and watch them now. John Dkar, he was there when the scene kicked off. There's no more historical footage of Chengdu nightlife than this guy filmed back in 2003. Great footage. Go and watch that and then watch my video. Don't be a slacker. The video links are in the description. Just click on the link, bang, you're into Dave's Oasis, Carols by the River, MGM nightclub. Go and do that and then watch. Watch. So you've clicked pause on my video. You've gone down to the descriptions box, you've highlighted the first video, then you've done a right click on the mouse, you selected play, you've played the first video, you've loved it, you've watched number 2, you've watched number 3, and now you're ready to watch the rest of my video. Thank you, John Dkar. Amazing nightlife videos. Okay, so this is part 6 of my China videos, and this is the nightlife, so get ready, it's going to be exciting. Yeah, the first thing I'll say is this city where I'm living is not a town. This is not a small town. When I was there were at least 10 million people, possibly more, unregistered. Now it's 14 million. You're talking about a city the size of London. This is a massive city. It's just be aware of that. And I'm going to refer to a bar in a lot of the upcoming footage, which is, I say Dave's Bar, it's Dave's Oasis. It's not Dave's Bar, it's Dave's Oasis. And if you want a great place to start off in Chengdu and get lots of information, Dave's Oasis, that's the place to go. So, until the next clip, this is now. Okay, so for this video, it's the nightlife. Getting down to the meat and the bones now. Nightlife in Chengdu, like I said, earlier in one of my other videos, the first night out it took us to the Irish bar. Terry, Sulu, Canadian guy, the 2 Simons, and we settled in, and then after a few weeks we got into a routine. They showed us another bar. Terry and Sulu from the teaching agency, they come out with us every Friday and possibly Saturday. I think they only went out 1 night a week generally together, and they showed us Dave's Bar. Oh my god, Dave's. It used to be, ironically, because my real name's Paul, it used to be called Paul's Bar, and I think it was owned by a foreigner and it got taken over by Dave, and Dave's a Chinese guy who had been a policeman, then a history teacher, then a tour guide, and then he bought the bar, and basically he ran the bar and a tour agency out of the same bar. And it was just it was a dive bar. It was a dive bar where, you know, everyone would meet up. You didn't in those days get that many backpackers going to Chengdu. I don't think it's changed that much now. But they'd stop in there and there was writing all over the wall. He had these broken leather comfortable but broken leather couches out front. He taught me to cook in his kitchen. He taught me Chinese recipes. Dave was just a sweetheart. It's like if you go to a completely new place, you need a guy like Dave, and Dave was just awesome. He's still there. You can still go to Dave's Bar. He still does tours and guides trips, but we'd start out all our nights at Dave's Bar, which was on the river. Beautiful location. We go outside to smoke, and after a few beers there, which was super cheap, I mean 50p a beer or something for a tall beer, 630 millilitres, there's Tsingtao or something, and then we'd have to walk 500 metres, cross the bridge 500 metres, and almost right opposite was Carol's by the river, and they had like salsa night, they did like salsa dancing and stuff, but they had a trick there, like because we like these big beers, you get these big bottles of beer which made your night super cheap, and around midnight they'd always say, oh, we've run out of big beers. They hadn't, they were lying. They say, run out of big beers, you've got to go on small bottles, cost a bit more. It didn't matter, it wasn't a big thing. But we'd either stay at Carol's by the river all night, or we'd go to MGM nightclub and finish a night there. One time I went to the super like high class nightlife area, which was I think south of the river. It wasn't that much fun. Much more fun in Dave's bar and Carol's. And the range of characters I met in Dave's bar was just the girls from the teaching agency, all the other foreigners in the city, and although it had 10 million people at that time, it hardly had any English teachers, so we kind of all knew each other and we'd all meet up there. There was a Dutch bodyguard. There was this Dutch bodyguard working for a Chinese guy, and never got to know him too well, but he could come into the bar, and his trick was, as he walked in, he would kick in the full splits like Jean-Claude Van Damme, the top of the door frame, just to show us he meant business. There's a Canadian guy, he just lived there, he didn't have a job. He exported DVDs back to Canada at that time because it was still a lucrative business. So he did that, and then he ran parties out of his apartment, and that's all he did. He had Nigerian Joe there, his mates came over from Nigeria occasionally and hung out. And there was this Western looking guy. I mean, he looked like an American, spoke I guess kind of like an American, John Dkar, John Dkar, and this was way before the days of YouTube. We're going back to 2004 now, and this guy went out with a video camera every night, hung around his neck. He had an electric motorbike, and you went out every night with a video camera, and he filmed everything. So I'll link in Dave's bar on this video from one of the videos that John made, and John was a sweetheart, really nice guy, from Peru, but he'd been living for years in China when I met him, and great guy, and he filmed it. I mean, way before, I know now YouTube's exploded, anyone with a little camera like me can make videos, but this guy had to take round one of those big old video cameras, and he did it every time, everywhere, and he got on like local TV stations. They took him up, I think Dave from Dave's bar hooked him up to go with these Chinese TV stations. They go out into the mountains and they make documentaries, and he'd be in the documentaries and making his own videos. But yeah, it was great to have someone like that along. I met another African guy there one night. He told me about a red dragon from Africa. He was training as a doctor. There's a lot of exchange programs between Africa and China for education, and he was training as a doctor. Nigerian Joe, like I said, came in. Then the Canadian guy from my first night, he'd be there. The girls from the teaching agency, and we'd just all rock up like we'd be a cocktail, have a good night. And if I was bored in the week, I'd just go down to Dave's bar, have maybe a quiet beer, and I'd ask him to go to the kitchen and teach me to cook something Chinese. So there was one great dish. It was like eggs, tomatoes, soy sauce. It's a really simple Chinese dish, but he took me back to the kitchen, taught me to make that, made his own pizzas, really good pizzas. And when I left, he arranged my ticket to get back to Hong Kong. Bought him a bottle of Jack Daniels because he liked his JD. But yeah, yeah. My only bad memory from going to Dave's bar was one night, maybe 3 months in. It was winter when I arrived. I tried to drink the rice wine, what do they call it? It's Lao Khao in Thailand, whatever it is in China. and I had 2 shots of rice wine, and from being completely sober, 30 minutes later someone put me in a taxi and sent me home. That's how strong that stuff is. So, but just great times. So Dave's Bar, Carol's by the River, MGM nightclub, I think they're all still there. There's a posh area down to the south, I think it's the south end, or maybe the east end of the city, thinking about the geography. But yeah, it's a huge city, there's loads going on, and go out in Chengdu, you'll have a good time, but make sure you go to Dave's Bar and check that out. That is for me the #1 bar in Chengdu, Dave's Bar. Oh, and the final thing I'll say on the nightlife is we did what the Chinese like to do sometimes, which is the karaoke nights, where we'd go to these huge karaoke houses with maybe 100 rooms. There'd be a supermarket downstairs where you could buy your booze and your food, and in a shopping trolley, go to the checkout, pay for it, and then you just go to your room and they bring it up to the room, and then you just drink and sing away all night. I found it really boring, actually. And then after that finished, or after any night out finished, there's a thing in Chengdu, it might be in the whole of China, called Saokao, which means barbecue. And on the streets there'd be these barbecues laid out with like mini quail's eggs, a skewer of mushrooms, a skewer of beef, skewer of pork. Just grab a few of those on the way home. Taxis, always travel by taxi on the way back, maybe take the bus down, because it was, you'd have time to get down there, and the buses are very efficient, and then you could get taxis back, and they were super cheap, still are, I think. Now they've got a subway, so you might even be able to do it on the subway, but yeah, nightlife in Chengdu, China. Okay, so this is me on Children's Day at my school. This is me with the kid that would never smile at me, very nice though. This is me at a temple, that's not one of my kids, I don't know who she is. This is me in my apartment, very nice apartment, 2 bedrooms, kitchen, bathroom, very nice, great view. That's the view from the window. Teachers from my school are cooking spaghetti, great night. That's my office, very nice office at the school that I had to myself. This is a girl from upstairs with a photo of her husband, which was living with him. A couple of ladies who were fighting in the local park. And sorting out the carpet in my apartment after I asked them to. Birthday party for the kids. My apartment is the 4th floor on the left hand side, where you can see there. Kids, AA and BB, the twins, left and right. Chengdu, where I was studying philosophy. Kids having a nap time after lunch, which I do every day. And the weekend away in Ireland, Tibet, this old place. Same kid that wouldn't smile at me, still not smiling. Fat loss advert that I found quite funny. Weekend away, no hotel room, so I slept on the floor of a restaurant on that mattress, having a selfie in the park with the famous poet Dope. Weekend away again near Tibet, invited by a family, got sunburned, nice school playground where I kicked the ball against the wall a lot of times. Another girl who lived upstairs, with 6 girls living upstairs, she was one of them, gave me a photo of herself. And I got posted out to Dujin school, sister school of my school one time. That was a photo in the window, and that's all my documents, and that's it.